This is Eitan Weinstein.
And I'm Naor Menninger, and you're listening to Two Nice Jewish Boys.
This podcast is made in collaboration with the Jewish Journal. Check them out at jewishjournal.com. Also in collaboration with Arutz Sheva, israelnationalnews.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, visit 2njb.com/donate. The fires this season in Australia have claimed the lives of 29 people to date. 15 million acres of woodland have been burned in Australia. Not to mention the 4.6 million acres that have burned in America and over 2 million in Brazil. It is estimated that in Australia alone, between 500 million to 1 billion animals have died, including approximately half of the entire koala population. In many cases, governments are either helpless or completely uninterested in the problem. And although it is clear that 90% of the fires are caused by people, it's not clear if there's something that could be done to change the situation. One thing is for certain. Around the world, many nations are seriously struggling to preserve nature and wildlife. In 2015, Professor Shanas of Haifa University came up with a groundbreaking idea. What if private people got together to buy a big chunk of nature and committed to preserve it? With several partners, Uri created Time, This Is My Earth, an organization that strives to purchase and preserve 2.3% of Earth's entire territory. We're happy to have Professor Shanas on the podcast today to discuss the initiative and environment.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, nice to be here.
So tell us a bit about the initiative. How did it get started?
Well, I started to teach conservation biology about 15 more years ago. And when you teach something, you become to learn and to understand it better. After some time that I started to teach, I became aware that, my students, okay, now they know, they have the knowledge, they get the awareness, but I felt that there's something missing in my life or in my teaching. And I felt that we need to do something more than that. It's not enough for the students to go out of class and to be concerned like everybody else. And I started to think, is there anything, even idealistic, anything that I can do, that I personally and my students and everyone else around me can do about it? So I started to think what would be the idealistic way to approach the problem of species extinction. This was my concern. And I started to write down my ideal organization, and I've been for some years in one leg in the academic world, one leg in NGOs, in several NGOs. I was founder of one and participated in many others as board member or activist. So I knew this. I knew the world of NGOs. I knew them very well, and I knew what are the flaws and what are the good things about NGOs. And I started to write down what would be the best thing I can do. I mean, taking the best of the two worlds, of the academic world and the NGOs, and build something. So this is.
What did you write on that piece of paper?
So I wrote. Yes. So I wrote first. I wanted it to be something, an NGO that everybody can become a member. That everyone, like not only affluent people or people. Or even not only people that really concerned about nature, but I wanted everybody to be able to be part of that. So one of the first thing I wrote, the annual membership fee will be $1 a year. That would be to begin with. So everyone, like every kid, every person in the world probably can give $1 for this cause. And so that was the first thing. And then I also wanted, and being in lots of conferences with other NGOs, I see how soon they can become corrupted, I would say, even a little bit, or or very very easy with the money they get, from the public.
Right. It's not. They don't. It doesn't come from their pockets.
Exactly. So I wanted that this $1 or whatever that everybody will donate will totally go to land protection, to go and purchase lands and turn them into conservation areas. I wanted people to know that if they give, if a kid, for example, gives from his weekly allowance, if he has to know that 100% of that goes to the cause and nothing goes to salaries or anything else.
So everything's on volunteer basis?
Everything is on volunteer basis.
I see.
And then I thought, well, I don't want only their money. I want them to be involved. I want them to be really. It's not about the money, but I want their involvement, and because I want to make a change. I want to make a real change from the very foundation of this of the education system and of what people know about the world. So I decided that everyone will be involved in deciding where we spend that money, where we spend all the money of the NGOs. So we made it a democratic organization. I wrote down this, it should be a democratic organization where everyone that donates $1 or more can vote on our website where they want us to go and purchase a land. And also I wanted it to be equal. That means, or egalitarian. That means that whether you donated $1 or $10,000, you have one vote. You have the same vote, the same power. I wanted these kids, that donate even small amounts, that they will feel like they are Bill Gates, that they are powerful. We listen to them. We want their vote. We want to listen what they have to say. Mm-hmm. And then I brought also my perspective of how things should be done. I wanted it to be very professional. So we formed a scientific committee. We formed a scientific committee that has a representative from every continent in the world. That was very important also for me, that we'll have people from all continents. And that scientific committee would make an initial or a preliminary screening or review of the lands that we are going to purchase. So it's not that every land can be purchased, but we need somebody on the way to to review the lands to see that the places really deserve preservation and protection, and the people behind it, the people that are going to actually go and purchase the land, we can trust them, and they have experience in purchasing land and protecting them for the long term, so they have to show that as well.
How many people are part of the organization today, and how much of the earth have you purchased, or has that not begun yet?
Well, it has, yeah. We formed it in 2015. January 12, 2015. We actually...
Today's the birthday.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right.
Exactly, yeah. I didn't think about it.
What is it, 5 years old?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Right, thanks. Thanks. I didn't think about it even, So on January 2015, I went down to Herzliya, to the place where our web developer actually worked for a couple of months to develop the infrastructure for the organization on the website. And we turned it on and we uploaded for the first time the Time website. And the Time website showed three completely different lands around the world. One was in Kenya, a savanna area in Kenya that we thought that it's important to go and purchase that land. Another one was in Peru, a jungle in Peru, a piece of jungle in Peru where there's a very critically endangered monkey. It's called the yellow-tailed woolly monkey, that only 250 individuals were left of this monkey in the world. And that land in Peru actually holds some individuals there, and we thought that it's really important for that. And another land in Belize, in the Caribbean, part of an island in Belize that will help us to preserve a marine area. So each land is really completely different. Each land has its own value. Some are expensive, some are less expensive. One is a jungle, one is a savanna, and the first thing I did, I called my daughter, my eldest daughter. She then studied in Beersheba. She studied chemistry, and I told her, "You, my oldest, you're going to be the first one who's going to vote on time." So, and Netta, even though she studies chemistry, she's more a business mind. She looks, how much the land cost, and I want my money to make the biggest effect. And she found out that, and you can see it on our website. She found out that the Peruvian, that the one in the jungle, is the cheapest land. So she clicked on Peru. Now, by that time, we also already had $10,000 in our account, because we ran a crowdfunding campaign just to develop Time. So just to make it and to spend the money, to have money to develop, to pay the developers and all the infrastructure, we needed a startup money. So we went to the public to get that money also.
Like a seed round.
Yeah, exactly. And I figured out that we need $25,000. And in the summer before that, we went on a campaign and we got $35,000. And we promised everybody that every dollar above what we need will go to the lands. So we started with $10,000. So as soon as Netta hits Peru, you can see on our website that Peru got $10,000. And now after that, I call my other daughter, Shaked, and she has a different mind of her sister. She thinks the Kenya should be bought and protected. So she hits Kenya on the website, and as soon as she hit Kenya, exactly. Peru goes down from 10,000 to 5,000, and Kenya get the 5,000 because it's equal votes, right? And of course, when I called my son, you can imagine Tomer, of course, because his sisters chose the other one, so he will choose Belize, of course, and he chose Belize, and then the money splits again, and this is how it goes. People donate to the pool, to the general bank of Time, and the votes, the relative
each get an equal part of the original sum.
Yeah, so the relative votes actually, with that you decide how much it's split, how much that sum is split among the project. We ended 2015 with a great success. We bought that land in Peru. We were very happy because it's.
What's the size of that land?
That land is, I think it's, I can't remember exactly. It's 65 hectares. It's about 65 hectares. And it's not a big land, but I've been there. It's a beautiful land. It's an amazing jungle.
And it was owned by the country by private people?
Yeah, it was owned by private people. That's the idea. We buy from private people. So when you said at the beginning that we want to preserve or to buy 2.3% of Earth, that's the 2.3 of percent. This is the biodiversity hotspots around the world. Biodiversity hotspots are places where you have a rich diversity of animals and plants, and they are in danger. So, and apparently more than 50% of these lands around the world are owned by private people. So you can actually go and buy it from these private people. Now, the people in Peru, these were, I think, if I remember correctly, there was a brother and a sister that wanted to sell this land. They live already in the city. They don't want to hold this land. And they were about to sell it to loggers. And we saved that land. And it should have, we saved it actually at the last minute even, because it was really about to be sold to loggers. And we save a beautiful, beautiful place.
But then you have expenses on, right? On
Yeah.
doing stuff with that land.
Right. And what we did there was something that I called also the deal of my life.
The art of the deal.
Yeah. I keep saying, but I know it's a little bit, might sound very sleazy. I say that's after marrying my wife, that's the deal of my wife. Okay, the second one maybe.
Okay.
But so we gave actually the land, and this is part of also our idea. We gave the land to two farmers, to Isidoro and Donatilla. They received from us the land. We gave them a small parcel of the land, a small part of that land to do agriculture, to raise cows for their living, and in return they protect the whole land for us. So it's a win-win situation. We give them a lifetime source of living, and we receive in return the protection of the whole land.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ideal of time is that we don't want to own the land ourselves. We want to work with the locals. We want to that they will also gain something from the land that we purchase.
So you mentioned before that you're a conservation biologist.
Yeah.
So what exactly is that?
Well, conservation biologist, we try to find solutions to problems that arise from mostly from species extinction problems. There are several big there are 7 big reasons why species become extinct in the world. The first one is the loss of land, the loss of habitat. But then there are also other problems like hunting, pollution, global warming.
And also when you introduce foreign species, right?
Right. There's problems. Some places there's problems also with the introduced species. Yeah. That's also. And what we do, we try to, of course, we do research and we try to find solutions. We try to find how to solve these problems, because we live now in an area that scientists call it the 6th mass extinction, and it's really horrible. I mean, the rate of extinction is almost unbelievable, and we do it all,
But to calculate the rate of extinction, how is that? How do you go about that? Do you need to know how many species there are, right?
Exactly. This is you're asking one of the biggest question of science now.
He has a tendency to do that.
We do not know exactly how many species are there. Just just in the past year, they found new species of birds and not far from Indonesia, and we don't know. We can estimate. We can estimate, and so when we estimate and we get, we can then look at the land that is lost and make some calculations how many are lost. So even if you go even if you are very conservative about these estimations, you see that
we're still in a mass extinction.
It's a mass extinction. Yeah, we are entering an era of a mass extinction where the last one, were 65, 66 million years ago when the dinosaurs were gone.
So is there really something we can do about it if we are in an era of mass extinction?
So this is what we try to do. I mean, we try to target those factors that affect these extinction, and the first one is habitat loss, and this is what we try to do with time. We try to save these habitats for the future and for the species that live there now.
Because almost by default, if you don't own it, it will, like, these lands are
protected. Yeah.
No, but if you don't buy these lands, you presume that most of them will become for loggers.
Loggers, agriculture, miners, can go many ways. I mean, it's nothing. Nothing is 100% sure, but we believe that the system that we built, where you have locals that preserve the land, and then we have in that area, in these places, we usually have also a local NGO, a local environmental NGO that keep track of the land. For example, with Isidora and Donatilla, we do not work directly with Isidora and Donatilla. We work through a local NGO. It's called NPC Peru. It's a Neotropical Primate Conservation Organization that deals mostly with research on primate and conservation of primates. And so we build here something that we believe is very effective, because you have on the ground, you have, for example, the farmers, the people that actually protect the land, and then you have an NGO that looks after that. And we recently, just in the past year, we bought NPC Peru 2 drones to help them to cover the land and to help them manage. And then on top of that, you have time, which will become eventually, we hope, a big international organization with lots of people around the world that can keep track of what we buy and protect.
So I want to go back to the mass extinction, because it seems like a juicy, dramatic topic. If we're all gonna die, that's always good for ratings. No, but I mean, can you tell us a bit about what the conservative estimates are, and what are the range of estimates, and what it looks like what the state of the planet is?
Yeah. So actually, there's an international committee that came up with a report just about I think last spring. I think it was May that they came up with a report and saying that the rate is really high. And it might even and it might be even a bigger problem than climate change. It's so bad. And they were talking about a million species that are endangered. They talked about 33% of the land around the world that is not productive anymore, and that put us on and big concern that we lost half of the coral reefs around the world. And we see the rate of forest extinction. It's something that is about the size. We lose a forest the size of a football court about every second or 2 seconds. I mean, this is amazing. Imagine that every second or every 2 seconds that you live, you eat, you sleep, a forest the size of a football court is gone, and so
doesn't
it's
come
horrendous. No, yeah, it's horrendous rate.
I want to go back though to Eitan's question from a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
He asked about how much did you purchase since
Ah, yeah,
2015, and
Okay, yeah.
how much money did you raise?
Okay, so 2015 we bought that land in Peru. 2015. 20. Sorry. That should have been. We bought already 4 lands. Okay, so
Okay.
I have to. So the first one was the first year we bought in a land in Peru. The second one we bought a land again in Peru, but it was 10 times the size of the first land. Also, both of them were in the upper Amazon. And so sorry, it was by 2016 that we bought the first land. Okay, we started 2015, we bought it in 2016, 2017 again another land, 2018 we bought the land in Belize, the one I told you from the beginning, in the Caribbean. And we just ended a campaign right now, 2019. We are about to buy a land in Colombia, another forest in Colombia.
So in total, give us some total numbers.
So in total, the numbers are not very impressive, I must say, because the first land, it cost us only $30,000. Second one, $17,000. The third one, again, $30,000. And now we bought the land, $70,000. So it's... We're starting modest, because we don't have any rich people, in our board or in our organization that can put a big sum, but we collect.
But
the
you
money.
you have a proof of concept.
We have a proof of concept, and it's really nice, because these are very small amounts, lots of small amounts, and we already have about 5,000 people in our organization, members in our organization, and everyone, some donate more, some donate less, but altogether I think we are making a change.
I wonder, if you feel that this is the best use, I hate to put it bluntly, but the best use of the money. I wonder if, if there's other causes that might benefit more immediately from, I don't know, you described $100,000, $200,000.
Right. I think for the individual person or individual kid, that's the best thing they can do. I mean, you can go out to demonstrations and to strikes and everything, but I have been there also. I've been demonstrating all my life and joining strikes and everything, but
the years taught you that strikes and demonstrations are meaningless.
It's not meaningless.
No?
I wouldn't say that, but that put...
I put words in your mouth.
No,
sorry.
no, I wouldn't say that. I would say that put the responsibility on others. It doesn't put the responsibility on yourself. And for myself, if I can put $1 or I can put something for myself, and I keep telling people that there is a theory in that the late Professor Zahavi postulated. Professor Zavi was also a zoologist. He was my teacher. And he postulated a theory of the handicap principle. And the handicap principle says that if you want to convey a message and you want it to be honest and you want it to be perceived as true and honest, you have to put a handicap on yourself. You have to really show that you are willing to give something and to do something which is right and which is true. For example, he brought lots of examples, but there's the famous example is the peacock tail. You know, the peacock has a very fancy tail, right? But this fancy tail, which he shows to the females, it also puts a handicap on himself, because having a big tail meaning you can't fly so well, and
it's easier to hunt him.
Exactly. So by showing this big tail, it's not only fancy and nice, it's showing the female, listen, I'm so strong, I can beat those predators, and I can also have I
can look pretty while I'm doing it.
And still, exactly. And this is what people, and there are lots of examples. If for example, buying a nice fancy car, right? What do you do? I mean, a small car and a very fancy car, they drive almost the same. I mean, you reach your end point at the same time. But buying a fancy car shows, the girls, listen, I'm rich, I have funds, I have look at me. I can spend money not on food or clothes or a house. I can spend money on a fancy car, right? So back to time, I'm saying that also, and we put a very strong emphasis on education. We tell the people, okay, you want to make a change in the world, you have to show that you are really willing, maybe give up your next iPhone or willing to give up your next vacation, and to put a handicap on yourself. And it's not only putting a handicap, and you go and purchase a land, and that land can not only preserve the biodiversity, but it also stores carbon dioxide, for example. Just that land we bought in Colombia now can store 12,000 tons of carbon dioxide. So it is meaningful, I think.
So I think that's a good answer to the question of like whether someone wants to donate a sum of, or wants to do something for the cause of protecting the environment or conserving nature and wildlife. Then is this the best way they can do it? And absolutely, giving money is probably one of the best ways you can get anything done in this world. But I'm wondering, if you have money, why give it to this cause and not to another cause? Let's say if I have $1 and I'm a kid, why give it to time and not, I don't know, donate to some cause that feeds the poor or something? Okay,
so first, I think the first thing is that with time, you know exactly where your money goes. You know that 100% of your dollar goes to the cause, and you can see it actually when you open our page, our website page, and you donate $1, you immediately see where the dollar went to. I mean, it's very transparent. That's also something that I really wanted to change in the way NGOs act. I wanted to be completely transparent with the money people donate. So as a kid, I would say, yes, you can exactly see that. And it actually does something. It's actually, you with your dollar, we buy a parcel, we buy something, and it's not only saving one species, you save a whole community of animals and plants, and it's that whole ecological structure that you save.
Okay,
cool. So what's the next What are the next steps?
Next steps. First, we want to increase our education system. We have we started in Israel, wonderful education program that already runs in schools, in elementary schools, junior high, high schools, even kindergarten. Teachers take our program, they download the program from our website because it's free, we give it free, and we actually give advice because I have also a committee of educators that help to build these programs. And for me, time is much about education as much as it's about conservation. And so that's the first thing that we want to do. We want to increase our education program. We want to go to other places around the world, to the States, to Canada, that teachers will start teach time, because the beautiful thing about teaching with time is that it's real. You go to the class and you show them a real scenario. It's not in the books. You told them, you come to the class and you tell them, listen, you have to decide. The teacher tell the students, you have to decide now whether you want to vote for Peru, Belize, or Kenya. How would you decide? And they have to go and dig in. And they have lots of information in our website, but they can find more information.
Debate about it,
yes. And so through time, teachers now use it. They use it to teach biology. They use it to teach geography and social sciences, because there's lots about democracy, about equity, about responsibility. Teachers, even we had English and Hebrew teachers, because of the debating and because of that they have to make decision and have to write essays. So English teachers, Hebrew teachers, they also use it. History teachers use it, and that's what we want to now to really increase our.
And you send expeditions there? Scientists to
uh,
these lands?
We plan to. I mean, I hope myself to go to some of the places. I hope to go to Colombia maybe this year. I've been to one of the places in Peru. I couldn't get to the other one. It was a day and a half each direction. Just walk, hike
in the jungle.
Hike in the jungle. I didn't have the time for that, so.
Wow.
Yeah,
I would die.
It's but
I would just die.
It's some
Or
of them
get
are
Ebola or something.
some of them are remote. Yeah.
Wow.
And
I would just probably forget my water. Wouldn't make it 10 minutes in.
Tell you what, you seem like a very optimistic person, which is usually, and the fact that you do, some people talk and some people do, and it makes a lot of difference in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
First, if you are a conservation biologist, you have to be optimistic. Otherwise, no, really, otherwise it's very, very depressing, and you won't live for long. I think if you're depressed all the time. So.
And it's not. I don't think it's obvious at all to form such an organization. The mere bureaucracy of it is not easy at all.
No.
To make this thing happen, and then to raise, it's not millions of dollars, but still raising a couple of hundreds of thousands of dollars is not easy at all. So, and you have the infrastructure ready, everything is ready. So now it's only a matter of.
Right. Yeah. Luckily, I had Professor Alon Tal with me from Tel Aviv University, and he helped me a lot to build this organization. And now we have a board. We have a board of directors, and we now have a new executive director from San Francisco, Tony, and
Cool.
we have lots of volunteers. We have something like about maybe 50 volunteers from all over the world working together.
All you need is one retweet from Greta, and you are on the way to go. Right?
Right.
That should be the goal.
So most of the funds come from donations, actually. Or
the
is that not how?
All the
funds.
funds are from donations, but we do hope to grow, and we hope to approach other foundations that will help us to grow the infrastructure. We believe that we won't be able to survive for long only on volunteers. We need to have some professional people in our staff. We have now an executive, a really good professional executive director that is doing a wonderful job. And eventually we'll need to pay some of the people, but we don't want that money from the individual donor. We don't want it from this kid that just had his bar mitzvah. We had several kids, by the way, that donated their bar mitzvah money to Time. It was so nice. Even my son spent much of his bar mitzvah money. He gave it to Time, and we don't want that money to pay the salaries. So we will approach other foundations to help us build this infrastructure, along with the infrastructure of the education system.
So how can people donate?
They just write, "This is my Earth," go into our page, and there is donate there, and you donate. And we want your vote as well. We want you to register as a member and vote. You can donate anonymously, but you can also donate and become a member.
Cool. It's also a good gift, like for your friend, like if he has,
I bought you a Time membership.
Yeah, and then
he's like, "Oh, the magazine." He's like, "No."
And not the cigarettes, also, right?
Yeah, but then you get to pick, like for your friend. It's like you remember it was trendy to buy a piece of land on the moon, but that was a scam, right? So, here you buy your friend a piece of a jungle and save the world. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and yours on social media, the organization?
Right, yeah, we are on Facebook and Twitter and and Instagram.
This is my Earth, or?
This is my Earth.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, awesome. Check it out, guys. This is my Earth. Time. Is it time.com?
No,
No,
this
come
is. No, I wish I
I'm
had
kidding.
that.
It's hard to get.
This is my Earth.
This is my Earth. Actually, I had a different name at the beginning, and I started to look for a domain, to buy a domain of that name. And then, when you start to look for a domain name, somebody get that and they increase the amount.
Right.
So, and then I had to, so This Is My Earth was after they stole actually my domain at the first time, and I came out with
what
that.
Was it?
Yeah. It was something like Saving Earth or something like that. Something very usual.
Easier.
Yeah, easier. But
I see.
But that one is more memorable, though.
I think so. I think it's better.
Nice.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming. Before we
Thank
go,
you.
we have a collaboration with the Jewish Journal. They're at jewishjournal.com. They're in Los Angeles. They have amazing website and content and Facebook page, podcasts like David Suissa's podcast and Shmuel Rosner podcast. So check them out at jewishjournal.com. Also,
we have a collaboration with Israel National News, guys, israelnationalnews.com. So check them out, their website. We're on their Facebook page sometimes with live episodes. Check them out, israelnationalnews.com.
And we also accept donations, so please help us out. Go to 2njb.com/donate, but not before you donate to This Is My Earth. And
Thank
that is
you.
it.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much
Professor
for
Uri
coming.
Shanas.
you.
Very inspiring.
Bye, guys.
Bye.